A quick reminder that Global Television Channel 3 and Times Nigeria's electoral umpire has officially released the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general election, setting the stage for what promises to be another defining moment in the nation's democratic journey. Our correspondent tells us more. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has rolled out a comprehensive timetable for the 2027 general elections, outlining key dates and activities that will guide political parties, candidates, and stakeholders in the build-up to the polls. The schedule details timelines for party primaries, submission of candidate nominations, commencement of campaigns, voter registration updates, and other critical pre-election processes. INEC says the early release of the timetable is aimed at giving political parties and aspirants ample time to prepare, while also enhancing transparency and credibility in the electoral process. The Commission reaffirmed its commitment to conducting free, fair, and credible elections, urging political parties to strictly adhere to the stipulated guidelines and timelines.
116 subsection 2, 132 subsection 2, and 178 subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, elections to the said offices shall hold not earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days before the expiration of the term of office.
INEC chairman says the commission will leverage technologically through a mock presidential election, strengthen logistics planning, and intensify voter education to ensure improved efficiency in 2027. He also called on security agencies, civil society organizations, and the media to play their roles in safeguarding the integrity of the electoral process.
I'm committed to even having a mock presidential election so that whatever technology, you see, the delicate thing about technology is that if a technology is designed without being properly tested.
The 2027 general elections will see Nigerians elect the president and members of the National Assembly, as well as governors and state houses of assembly across the country. INEC maintains the strict compliance with the electoral calendar will be critical to delivering a credible and hitch-free general election in 2027. INEC and Nigerians are looking forward to see a successful flow of the 2027 general election. Annie T. Patrick reporting for Global TV News. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says ethical leadership and strong institutions remain the surest path to peace, justice, and sustainable development. Tinubu made this known at the Global Council for Political Renewal Conference held in Cape Town, South Africa, where he was represented at the conference by Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. Presenting Nigeria's position on good governance, institutional reforms, and human rights, President Tinubu said ethical political conduct is no longer optional in a divided and fast-changing world, highlighting ongoing people-centered social and economic interventions, youth-focused policies, and efforts to guide the responsible use of technology, including digital platforms. Members of the Joint National Assembly Conference Committee constituted to reconcile differences in the electoral amendment bill passed separately by the Senate and the House of Representatives are expected to meet on Monday as lawmakers move to transmit a harmonized version to President Bola Tinubu for assent. The joint panel, made up of members from both chambers, has been given a one-week window to resolve contentious provisions in the bill, notably those dealing with electronic transmission of election results. The decision to harmonize the bill follows the passage of different versions by the Senate and the House, particularly on the role of technology in results collation and transmission. Under legislative procedure, where both chambers pass varying texts of the same bill, a conference committee is set up to produce a single version acceptable to both sides before transmission to the President. The current amendment process is coming on the heels of the controversies that trailed the 2023 general election, especially the failure of the Independent National Electoral Commission to upload presidential election results to its results viewing portal in real time. The Progressive Youth Commissioners Forum has extolled the sterling leadership qualities of former Governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari. The convener of the forum, Sagir Musa Ahmed, disclosed this at a dinner organized to honor the former governor as chairman of the National Convention Planning Committee 2026 of the All Progressives Congress, as well as his designation as zonal coordinator of the Renewed Hope Initiative. Political correspondent Ubong Usoro completes the story.
The convener of the forum, Sage Musa Ahmed, who is the Commissioner for Information, Jigawa State, praised Aminu Masari for his remarkable contributions to Nigeria's democratic development. He highlighted Masari's past leadership roles as the Speaker of the House of Representatives and Governor of Katsina State, describing him as a seasoned administrator committed to party unity and national progress. The commissioner commended his efforts in promoting youth inclusion in governance and strengthening party structures across the region.
Today, the forum proudly gathered to honor Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, CFR, in recognition of his distinguished leadership, steadfast commitment to progressive governance, and enduring contribution to youth advancement and national development. His Excellency have done very well. He don't require any much introduction. He have done best as Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Farouk Jobe, lauded Masari's leadership and administrative competence, noting his appointment as the chairman of the APC National Convention Planning Committee 2026 and zonal coordinator of the Renewed Hope Initiative as strategic to ensuring a successful and well-organized party convention.
A defining moment in our political journey, leaders of tested experience are called often, and Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari has consistently answered that call with dignity, wisdom, and purpose.
Responding, Aminu Masari thanked God for his guardians over the years and reaffirmed his commitment to discipline, integrity, and dedicated service to both the APC and the nation.
His responsibility not as honors alone, but as serious obligations to contribute meaningfully to national development and democratic consolidation. The Renewed Hope agenda represents the policy direction and the governing policy philosophy of this administration.
The gathering ended with youth commissioners pledging to mobilize grassroots support, intensify political awareness among young people, and work collectively towards sustaining the unity and progress of the APC. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
The federal government has launched an emergency intervention to fight two major crop pests threatening tomato and sugarcane production nationwide. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, described the outbreak as a national agricultural emergency affecting harvests, farmer incomes, and agro-industrial investments. Our correspondent completes the story. The initiative, flagged off in Kano at the Federal Crop Production Technology Transfer Station, targets the tuta absoluta in tomatoes and African sugarcane borer. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, calls the outbreak a national agricultural emergency. The program will focus on farmer and extension worker sensitization, distribution of approved pest control inputs, and guidance on integrated pest management to contain infestations. Abdullahi stressed Nigeria's position as a leading tomato producer, supporting millions of jobs, and warned that recurring pest infestations and post-harvest losses are undermining productivity. On sugarcane, he highlighted the crop's role in job creation, import substitution, and ethanol production, adding that the African sugarcane borer threatens yields.
Nigeria remains one of the largest producers of tomatoes in Africa, and yet post-harvest losses and pest infestation, especially for Tuta absoluta, have continued to undermine productivity and farmer livelihoods. Similarly, sugarcane is vital to the domestic sugar industry and for backward integration policy. It also supports job creation in farming and agro-processing.
Representing Kano State Governor, Commissioner for Agriculture, Danjuma Mahmood, described the intervention as timely, aligning with the state's agricultural transformation plans.
Important for experts to start to tell us, to prepare our minds that it's not only the production that matters. This production is susceptible to so many things. So we need to have to prepare ourselves and to be able to involve knowledge in whatever we do so that we can be advised appropriately.
The federal government urges farmers to use the free inputs responsibly, warning against reckless pesticide application that could harm health and the environment. Anie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News. Across Nigeria, Muslim faithful gathered for what is widely regarded as one of the most spiritually significant Fridays of the year, the last Jumat before going into Ramadan. For many, it is more than just congregational prayer. It is a moment of reflection, repentance, and preparation for the holy months ahead. Sadia Yakubu tells us more.
In cities like Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, and Abuja, mosques are filled earlier than before. Worshippers arrived with heightened anticipation, aware that next Friday's sermon will fall within Ramadan itself. The last Jum'ah before Ramadan is seen as a spiritual checkpoint, a final opportunity to calibrate intentions before a month of fasting, prayer, and sacrifice begins.
Being the last Friday before Ramadan, I would like to call on the general ummah to be prepared to receive the month of Ramadan in good faith, to receive the month of Ramadan with the main salutation to Allah, as well as offering special prayer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in this world, and may He also bless us in the life hereafter.
Across the country used today's sermon to remind believers that Ramadan is not only about abstaining from food and drink, but also about discipline, generosity, and renewed faith. Many imams urged Muslims to settle debt, mend broken relationships, and make sincere intentions before the crescent moon is sighted.
You know, Ramadan is about sacrifice, Ramadan is about unity, Ramadan is about devotion. Therefore, I call on Nigerians to make sacrifice to the unity and peace of this country. I call on Nigerians to be dedicated, to be devoted to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and offer a series of prayers and supplications so that we can have the mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within this month of Ramadan.
Beyond the spiritual dimension, today also marks the beginning of heightened Ramadan preparations. Markets are busier, charity organizations are mobilizing food distributions, families are preparing for sahur, the early morning meal, and iftar, the meal for breaking the fast. For some, this Friday carries emotional weight, especially those praying for the chance to witness another Ramadan. As the sun sets on this final Friday before Ramadan, anticipation builds across Nigeria. For millions, today is not simply the end of the week. It is a doorway to a sacred season of mercy, forgiveness, and spiritual renewal. As the Moon Sighting Committee prepares for announcement in the coming days, Muslims nationwide are encouraged to begin preparations in earnest. Ramadan Mubarak in advance. Sadia Yakubu for Global TV News.
February 14th is widely recognized as Valentine's Day, a time set aside to celebrate love, companionship, and meaningful relationships. Across cities and communities, shops are decorated in red. Couples exchange gifts and messages of affection fill the air. For many, the day is not just about romantic love, but also about family, friendship, and shared humanity. Our correspondent Ogochukwu Mobuno tells us more.
February 14 is widely recognized as Valentine's Day, a time set aside to celebrate love, companionship, and meaningful relationships. Across cities and communities, shops are decorated in red, couples exchange gifts, and messages of affection fill the air. For many, the day is not just about romantic love, but also about family, friendship, and shared humanities.
Valentine, it means love, it means kindness, it means empathy, and it means expressing all of those feelings to people you love.
From bustling markets to quiet cafes, the spirit of Valentine's Day is evident. Florists, gift vendors, and event centers record increased activities, reflecting both the commercial and emotional significance of the day.
Valentine, as the name implies, means love. It's a season for love, sharing of sharing of gifts, telling someone that, okay, yes, I love you indeed, and a time for affirmation. It's not just for lovers alone. I think even if you have neighbors, your siblings, your family, you can tell them, I love you. You can just give them that words of affirmation this season. It's just to share love and spread love.
Valentine is a season or day of Lovers' Day. Lovers' Day, they will celebrate love.
People explain that beyond celebrations, Valentine's Day offers an opportunity to promote kindness, empathy, and healthy relationships, values that remain essential in today's fast-paced world. As love is celebrated in different ways, many are also using the day to reach out to the less privileged, reinforcing the message that love is best expressed through actions. As the day unfolds, the message remains simple. Love in all its forms continues to be a universal language. Ogochukwu Mobuno reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of Meet the News. The Meet the News continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Glad you could join us. Let's take a look at what Saturday has in store. If you are in Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers State, you might want to keep that umbrella close. Isolated thunderstorms are expected in the early hours. For the rest of the country, the morning should be calm with partly cloudy to sunny sky. A pretty decent start for the weekend. Now, heading up north is staying hot. Temperatures are expected to remain in their upper 30s. So make sure you stay hydrated and avoid prolonged sun exposure if you can. Looking towards the afternoon, there are some welcome relief on the way for residents of Kogi, Ondo, Edo, Anambra, Enugu, Imo, and parts of Edo State. Thunderstorms are likely later in the day, and those showers should help cool things down. The same goes for Bayelsa, Lagos, Delta, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom. Afternoon thunderstorms are also expected to roll in, so plan your outdoor activities accordingly. So whether you're stepping out early or making afternoon plans, stay weather aware and stay safe. And that's your weather update for Saturday. I am Akami Samarda. Enjoy your weekend.
It's good to have you back on Meet the News. In business, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says banks and check printers now risks a fine of 10 million naira for using unapproved security futures. The Apex Bank disclosed this as it revised the sanction grid of the Nigeria Check Standards and the Nigerian Check Printers Accreditation Scheme. The updated sanctions were announced in a notice signed by Director Banking Services Department Hamisu Abdullahi. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has reaffirmed its commitment to sweeping economic reforms amid stabilizing the economy and positioning the country for a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The Deputy Director of the Corporate Communications and Investor Relations Department at the bank Sadi Hakama disclosed this during the Investor Relations CBN Special Day at the 47th Kaduna International Trade Fair. Hakama, who was represented by the Deputy Director at the bank, Abbas Ahmed, said the theme of the fair, from reforms to results, economic transformation through sustained local content development, aligns with the Apex Bank's reform agenda. And on the foreign scene, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says organized crime is the most immediate threat to the country's democracy, society, and economic development. Speaking during his annual State of the Nation speech to the Parliament, President Ramaphosa said South Africa's primary focus this year is on stepping up the fight against organized crime and criminal syndicates. Uyi Agumofegbe has the rest of the story.
Among the issues that most anger voters as South Africa approaches municipal elections later this year, in which the co-ruling African National Congress, ANC, is expected to see its share of the vote slide further. President Cyril Ramaphosa said in an address to Parliament that South Africa will deploy the army to fight organized crime and lay criminal charges against municipal officials who fail to deliver water to communities, insisting that organized crime has become an existential threat.
Organized crime is now the most immediate threat to our democracy, our society, and our economic development. Our primary focus this year is on stepping up the fight against organized crime and criminal syndicates. A stronger South Africa must be safe and secure. The cost of crime is measured in lives that are lost and futures that are cut short. It is felt also in the sense of fear that permeates our society and in the reluctance of businesses to invest.
Crime has been in the spotlight partly because of attacks by U.S. President Donald Trump, who confronted Ramaphosa at a White House meeting last year with false claims that white people were facing a genocide in South Africa. However, most victims of crime in the country are black. South Africa has one of the highest homicide rates in the world, with an average of around 63 killings per day in 2025. Guns are the most commonly used weapon, according to authorities, and illegal firearms are used in many crimes, despite the stringent rules governing gun ownership. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, the Confederation of African Football has received 3 official bids from Morocco, Ethiopia, and a joint bid from South Africa and Botswana to host the 2028 Africa Cup of Nations before Thursday's deadline for the submission of expression of interest. AFCON 2028 will usher in CAF's new era of staging the tournament every 4 years. The change was announced by CAF President Patrice Motsepe during the just concluded edition in Morocco. Morocco hosted the tournament for the second time between December 2025 and January 2026, with the North Africans earning praise for setting a new infrastructural benchmark for the competition. The National Institute for Sports is set for a major transformation following strong backing from the National Assembly for a significant increase in its 2026 budget. Lawmakers say the move is aimed at reviving Nigeria's sports development structure from the grassroots to elite levels. Our correspondent tells us more. The Director General of the National Institute of Sports, Philip Shuaibu, has unveiled a 10-year strategic development plan to reposition the institute as the backbone of Nigeria's sports growth. Presenting the 2026 budget proposal before the House of Representatives Committee on Sports, Shuaibu outlined long-standing structural and funding challenges that has limited the institute's effectiveness since its establishment in 1974. He said for more than 5 decades, the institute operated without a defined long-term roadmap, a gap he linked to declining standards in athletes' training and infrastructure, including the deterioration of the Athletes Development Center before ongoing rehabilitation. The House Committee subsequently increased the Institute's 2026 budget estimate from 2.8 billion naira to about 60 billion naira after consultations with the Budget Office.
Budget of 637 million naira, which is nothing to write home about considering the current transformation that is taking place in NIS. Therefore, we sat with the agency, with the DG, and with the committee, we initiated an idea of how we'll make sure this 2026 budget is going to be different for them.
Meanwhile, the Committee on Sport also threw its weight behind the reverse 60 billion naira proposal, describing the institute as central to Nigeria's sporting future. However, the NIS Director General assured lawmakers that the proposed funding would strengthen athletes' preparation for international competitions, upgrade facilities, and expand grassroots coaching programs nationwide.
Lack of NIS functioning had led to our children born abroad are now those that are representing our country. Why? Because the facility is there for our children born abroad to use, and we are now relying on them to come and represent our country. Whereas, once upon a time, the Okalas that I'm talking about, the Okochas, we are a product of our league.
Lawmakers maintain that revitalizing the National Institute of Sports is a critical step towards restoring Nigeria's competitiveness on the global sporting stage. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick reporting. And that's it on Meet the News. A quick reminder, the Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Anieti Patrick. Thank you for watching.